Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy T-Mobile Tuesday, everybody. Oh, I don't know if I can upload this in time. Maybe I don't know if I can. But anyway, if you are a T-Mobile customer, they're giving away $3 Starbucks gift cards at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So I think that's 1 o'clock Pacific time. And you'll have to figure it out for the other places in the country. Anyway, so today's video is going to be about worthiness, and it's a request from a subscriber. Thank you, subscriber, for participating in the topics. And they wanted to know, why unworthiness exists. Like, why do they feel it? Why do they feel unworthy? And the simple answer to that is, if you feel unworthy, if you feel that you don't have value, it's because you are currently believing someone else's version of truth and not the Creator's version of truth. And understand that the Creator's version of truth is the only truth. It is the absolute truth. So in order to feel worthy, in order to feel as if you have value, to know your value, understand your value, you have to look at life. You have to look at yourself as a Creator looks at you. You cannot look at life based on society's views. You can't look at your life based on your family's views, your friends' views. You cannot look at your life through the lens of anybody else other than the Creator's view, the Creator's lens. Point blank, period. There is no other way around this. No other way around this. No other way around this. You can't do it. Because as long as you subscribe to someone else's views, to someone else's perspective, to someone else's beliefs as to what is worthy and what is value or valuable, you will always have pain. You will always feel this thing inside of you like you don't meet up, you don't stand up to other people. And the reason why that is because you are comparing yourself to other people. Because understand, everything that society has created as a standard is just that, humanity's creation. It's their illusion. It's a falsehood. And as you buy into any falsehood, you will experience pain, because that is the consequence. The consequence of not living in truth is pain. The consequence of not living in love is pain. And so the pain that's associated with unworthiness, the pain that's associated with not feeling as if you have any value, is going to be experienced as long as you hold the belief that you have no value and that you are unworthy. Look, the Creator did not make any mistakes. That is true. That is the absolute truth. The Creator did not make any mistakes. But what the Creator has allowed us to do as human beings, as souls, is to create however we want to create. Look, this is God's universe. This is God's creation. All of this that we see, this is God's creation. And everything in God's will be done, meaning God's vision, God's desire, it will be made manifest at the end of whatever. However long it takes us to realize this, it will come to manifest for the Creator, because the Creator is a master manifester. You've heard this through New Age circles. You're a master manifester. You're a master manifester. That is correct. You are a master manifester. But the Creator is the ultimate master manifester. That is beginning to be a tongue twister there. And you can't escape this, because you can't escape this universe that we dwell in. Why? Because it's the Master's creation. The true Master. The true God, the only Creator of all things. That's what we have to come to understand. That's what we have to come to understand. Like I said, there's no way around this. So at some point, if you feel unworthy, at some point you have accepted someone else's definition of what worthy is. You have accepted someone else's idea of your worth and your value. Because, and there's so many reasons behind that. Like, it's going to be different for every single person. Some people, for instance, someone can like someone, want to be in a relationship because they feel lonely. And so they'll attempt to get to know someone and they will be rejected by that person. But because of the lack of value, understand this, because of the lack of value and because of the lack of worthiness that one feels, they will attempt to rectify that by using outside forces, if you will, outside things, people, inanimate objects, all these different things people will try to do to make themselves feel worthy, to make themselves feel as if they have value. Some people use money as a substitute for value and worth. Some people will use houses and cars and things. You know, some people will use a degree. Some people will use a career, a title. Some people will do all kinds. People will do all kinds of things to fill that void or to make that void go away. And it's not going to work ever. It may temporarily solve or temporarily mute the pain, but it will not take it away, because that's not how the universe is designed. That's not how the Creator designed the soul to operate. The Creator did not design the soul to operate in a manner in which degradation resides within the soul. This is why we keep experiencing pain, to let us know that something that is dark dwells within the soul, and that we need to take action. We need to take responsibility, and we need to be accountable for the things that are within our soul. It's our soul. It is our responsibility. So every time you feel pain, every time you feel unworthy, every time you feel like you don't have any value, like you don't matter, that's only because it dwells within you already. The feeling is just coming up because it's in there. You're only feeling what's within you already. But you have to understand the truth in order to get out of it. You have to understand that you are valuable. You have great value. Look, the Creator has created each soul to have gifts. Each soul has unique gifts. Things that are just within us naturally. Some people are great at solving problems. Some people are great at singing. Some people are great at dancing. Some people can compose music. Some people can write poetry. And it just happens. It's not something you have to take a class to learn. It's just something that is naturally within your being. And that's your gift. And so you have to understand what your gift is. But sometimes it's so hard to find out what your gift is because you're so busy trying to appease other people to fill the void that you have. This is why, I recommend, taking a break from people. Because when you take a break from people, you stop yourself. Oh, I'm sorry. I just looked over to all this greenery and I saw these specks of color from the leaves, the fall leaves on the trees. We usually don't get, as you can see, most of this stuff is green, but we usually don't get colors like this. It's not typical here in California. We have what's called evergreens. They're just green 24/7. And like the pine tree is always, having leaves no matter how cold or hot it is. Anyway, oh God, not again. Hold on, I think that's a little overexposed. There we go. Oh, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. What was I saying? But while I'm trying to think about that, let me have a little water. So what was I talking about? This is ridiculous up there. pause it. So we're all born with these gifts. We have these gifts, and not even born. We were created, like, before souls even incarnate, they don't have any consciousness. So, but the contents of the soul is already there. The Creator has already created the souls, but the souls do not have consciousness. They are not aware of their existence. They're just there. It's almost like an assembly line, if you will. You know, kind of like an AI, if you will. Kind of like an AI, artificial intelligence robot, right? It's there. The parameters are set. The rules are set. All the things, the gifts are set. The worth, the value, who you are, what you are, it's already set. And I think I need to go way up here to pass these people. They're already set. But the consciousness does not come alive until either a battery is connected, there's some kind of power source. When life is put into the soul, it is then activated and animated. And that's what happens at incarnation. In that moment, that is when the soul becomes aware. In that very moment. And I know this may go against some of the people who believe in reincarnation. That's fine. That's something you'll have to get over at some point in your existence. It will take as long as it will take as long as you need it to take. I'll just say that. But that's just the process. That's the process. There is something else that happens that is called reincarnation, but there's one version of reincarnation, but there's many versions out there that people believe. I'll just want to hear about that, or want me to talk about that, then let me know and I can talk about that. But anyway, so here I go again. Every time I get sidetracked, I really get sidetracked. But anyway, we're born with these gifts. We're born with these abilities, or they're already existing within us. So when we incarnate, they're already there and ready to go. They're already there and ready to go. So if you understand this, if you understand this is the process and this is how it works, and you know that you are the pinnacle of the Creator's creation, then you can get to that point of living that manifested state. We're not living in this manifested state, or in that manifested state, because we don't fully believe it. Because we believe that we're not smart enough and we're not good enough, based on what society has deemed to be smart and deemed to be good and deemed to be worthy. Because let me tell you, people will not see you as having any value if you don't serve them. If you can't serve them, they don't see you as being of any value. A lot of friendships are based on this. People are your friends, or your so-called friends, because of what you give them. Some, it's money. Some, it's status. Some, it's acceptance. It's something that you're giving to these people that allow them to be your friend. But when you stop giving it, as you have probably experienced, when you don't give someone something that they want, you are of no use to them. You are of no value to them. This is why I say you cannot look through the lens of anybody else but the Creator. And the thing is, if you knew your worth and your value through the lens of the Creator, you would never give someone who was using you what they wanted or what they want. You would never do that, because you know that if there's something that you have and someone doesn't have, that you are worthy of what you have, and the person who doesn't have doesn't feel that they are worthy of what they want from you, which is why they need it from you and they can't generate it themselves. This is very important to understand. You have to understand the dynamics of humanity. You have to understand the condition that they're in, their soul condition. You have to understand why they operate the way that they operate. You have to understand why they think the way that they think. It's all because of the their condition of their soul. The degradation that's within their soul is the only thing that will allow someone to use you, to abuse you, to manipulate you. And sometimes people don't even know it. Sometimes people are so dark they don't even know it. They don't know how degraded they are. These are the ones you have to watch out for because they can't see it. People will use you. You kind of look at it like this. People are like, they operate like drug addicts, but they're not on drugs. If you can look at it like that, you may have a better understanding. If you know anything about an addict, they will do anything and everything in order to get their next hit. That's how they operate. And that's how dark souls operate. That's how demons operate. And I know people think, oh my God, demon is a harsh word, but you have to look at the truth of it. You have to understand what a demon is. A demon is nothing but a soul with a great deal of darkness, a great deal of pain, who's willing to do anything and everything because they don't understand what they're doing due to the darkness that dwells within their soul. I personally like the word demon. It's very powerful and it's simplistic. And it doesn't, I'm not the type to sugarcoat anything, but neither does the Creator. The Creator puts everything out there front and center. It's just up to us to accept it. Some people think that I'm very harsh because I'm very direct in the way that I speak. I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't try to sweeten it up a little bit so it's more palatable. I don't do those things. That's not who I am. That's not who the Creator made me to be. I have always been very forward in terms of my expression, aside from the times when I felt like I couldn't speak. But that was part of the issue with growing up, is I was so direct and so forward that the adults in my life could not handle it and shut me down. But I got over that. I understood. But understand, I didn't get over it just to get over it. I got over it when I understood what they were doing. When I understood that I wasn't wrong for speaking the truth. I wasn't bad for speaking the truth, because this is what a lot of adults teach their children. They teach their children to, you don't speak unless I'm asking you something. You don't speak unless I say it's okay to speak. This is how adults, hey, you sit down and be quiet. Sit down and be quiet. That is what's happening in the moment, is a parent is shutting down a child, or an adult is shutting down a child. Quiet. Be quiet. Don't say anything. You don't say anything. You don't say anything. You don't say anything. And that's shutting a child down. It's very important to let the child speak. And if the child is incorrect, then it's okay to correct them. How do you think the child is going to learn right from wrong or loving from unloving? But understand, this can only come from a person who understands this. It can't come from a person who doesn't understand, which is why it doesn't happen as often. And this is a lot of the reasons why children feel unworthy. Like they're not, their word doesn't have any value. It means nothing. What they desire, what they want. Hey, stop saying you want this, stop saying you want that. Why? Because a parent can't afford it, possibly. Okay, so the parent doesn't want to be reminded that they're poor, that they're broke, that they're struggling, that they're suffering. So how do they stop that feeling? They tell the child to shut up and stop asking for things. It's important for the child to desire things, to express themselves, so that they feel that the word has value, because the words do have value. Because words are based on feelings, it's based on desires of the soul, it's based on what it likes and what it doesn't like. And it's important to express these things, and a lot of children are shut down. A lot of people, and some children are like the ones who are given up for adoption, or the ones who are abandoned. These people have great self-worth issues because they feel as if they're not wanted. And how do they come to that conclusion? Because they look at everybody else who has a parent, who has a mom, who has a dad. They look at this and they're like, oh, look at what they're experiencing. I want to experience that love too. I want to experience that connection. Something must be wrong with me. Because I don't have that. My parents abandoned me, or God, or some children feel that God took their parents away if they died. All kinds of things, but understand, it's our interpretation based on everything around us, and we cannot do that if we want to know our value and know our worth. The worth and the value exists. It's already there, but you have to be in alignment with it. You have to believe it. You have to hold on to it and bring it into your being as if it is true, because it is true. You have to bring it in. It has to be part of your being. It has to be part of your soul. It has to be your belief. It has to be your belief. This is something that has to be. Because if you don't allow this to happen, you can continue with affirmations and you can continue telling yourself that you're worthy. I am valuable. I am worthy. I am valuable. I am worthy. I am valuable. I am worthy. And you can say that and you'll probably believe it, because we can convince ourselves of many things. But what will always happen, and I do mean always happen for the rest of your existence, if you do not change it on your soul, on the soul level, you will always have an experience where you feel unworthy and you feel as if you have no value. You will seek a position, you will seek a speaking engagement, you will speak something, or you will attempt to. And if people are not receptive of who you are, you will feel as if you have nothing to offer. You have no value. Nobody wants to hire you. Nobody wants to book you. Understand, this is what's going to happen. So you can use your affirmations as long as you want. But that which dwells within your soul still dwells within your soul. That feeling of unworthiness and lack of value still dwells within your soul. And when a situation comes up that doesn't go the way that you are forcing it to happen, trying to force it to happen, trying to make happen, when it doesn't happen, oh, you're going to feel the pain. You're going to feel the hurt. You're going to feel the lack of value. You're going to feel the lack of you're going to feel the unworthiness. You're going to feel it. That's fact. That's truth. You're not going to change that, because God created it that way. Why? So that you understand that something still dwells within you, regardless of you trying to play Jedi mind tricks with yourself. You hear me? Yeah. That's the truth of it, people. That's the truth of it. That's what I had to do. I had to understand that, and I didn't understand this until recently, because if you guys have been listening to me, some of you have for a while, I did not grow up feeling that I was worthy and feeling that I had any value. Even though I felt like I did, I wasn't treated as if I did. And that was the biggest hurdle to overcome, because every time I tried to present something that was a value, even when I was presenting something that was valuable, other people didn't see it that way. God saw it that way. When I spoke truth, God saw that what I was speaking had value. But because people are in denial, they didn't see it. They didn't see it. And so they made me feel as if it wasn't. But I kept speaking. I kept speaking truth so much, I kept getting popped in the mouth. Oh my gosh, I've been popped in the mouth so many times by my mother. Hey, don't say that. And it was true. Why? Because she was living in fear. She didn't want people to know that she was saying things behind people's back. How she really felt about people. She felt that someone did this and did that, and she spoke it around me and I repeated it, because that happens a lot. It happens a lot. Children hear the parents talk about something, and then they're in front of that person they were talking about, and they say it, and the parents are like, shh, I didn't say that, and they call you a liar when they're the ones who were lying, and it makes you feel as if you did something wrong. And some people, this is how children grow up to be liars, because they're taught that lying is the only way to not get popped in the mouth, hit in the face, chastised, They learn that lying prevents these things from happening, but telling the truth creates pain. That's what a lot of children believe, because that's what their parents are giving them as an experience. So you out there who feel as if you don't have any value or you're not worthy, it was never true. But in your parents' degradation, or in the adults' degradation, and sometimes your peers' degradation, they made you believe something. I don't want to say they made you, but they presented an alternative to the truth and you believed it. How's that? That's probably the best way to say it. They presented an alternative to the truth, and you believed it. And you continue to believe it. You hold this as your truth. But it is only your truth. But understand, we don't have personal truths. I know this thing has been going around for a while, like, oh, you got to speak your personal truth. No, boo-boo. You just speak the truth. Speak your experience. Understand it's an experience. But if it's not of absolute truth, it is not truth. If it's not the Creator's truth, or what the Creator has created to be the truth, or has deemed to be the truth, it is not true. Or I'm just saying, it's not the truth. What we create is not the truth if it is not the truth. And the thing is, we can't even create truth. We're just in alignment with it. The truth already exists. It existed before we were even created. The parameters of life and the parameters of love, the parameters of truth were already created before the souls were even brought in to have consciousness. So no, we can't create. That's why we don't have a personal truth. We just have the truth that we are able to be in alignment with, or we can do the alternative, which is create something that isn't the truth that we call the truth. That's what fear is, right? Fear, false evidence experienced, false evidence, what is it? F-E-A-R, false expectations appearing real. Still got the brakes, baby. Still got the brakes. So that's it. That's what we create. That's what fear is. We live in fear because we're living in our own creations. False evidence appearing real. I'm sorry, that is false evidence. False evidence or false experiences. Whichever one you want to pick. But it's not real. That's why fear is so debilitating, because it's not something that's created by the Creator. The Creator does not create things that's debilitating. The Creator creates things that are freeing, that are of great abundance and joy and happiness. That's all the Creator knows how to create. The Creator doesn't have anything that's dark within it to create anything else. But because we are where we are, because of the great fall, and you have to bring Adam and Eve, or Amon and Aman, into the mix, because they are part of what we're experiencing. They are the reason why we are experiencing what we are experiencing. They were the first ones who brought darkness into the fold. Honking like that. They're the only ones who have brought darkness into the fold. Or they're the first ones who brought darkness into the fold. When there was nothing but goodness and nothing but love and nothing but truth, they brought something else. They created something else in their own right, as a master manifester, as a creator. They brought something new into the fold, and it has never left. It has only grown. Why? Because of the independence that we have, the self-reliance that we have. We want to be independent, and there's nothing wrong with being independent if you're only on this path of this narrow path of love and truth. There's nothing wrong with being independent. But if you have love and truth, you understand that yes, you can be independent and ask for assistance if you need it. And the thing is, if your soul condition is so great, you won't ever have to ask for anything, because someone will see that you need some help and they will offer it to you. That's what a master manifestor is when you can call something to you without even asking for it. Ask and it is given. Some people don't have to ask for it. How many times have you desired something? This is how, people, I have a friend, she loves, we met through Abraham Hicks chat thing, group thing, back in the day, and it wasn't too long ago, but she loves manifesting lattes. And so it's like, how many times...
We found a faster route via California 110, which saves 4 minutes. If you prefer to stay on the current route, tap no thanks.
Okay, I'll take your little advice and take the 110. But wait a minute, which way? I can't tap anything or else it'll stop recording. I'll just stick to my route because I don't know which. I think I know. 110. I don't know. Okay, we'll figure this out. How many times have you thought about something, had a desire for something, but never came right out and asked? It just shows up. Because it's already done. It is already done. And the thing is, your desire was the asking of it. That's the truth of it. Your desire is a prayer. Some people feel they have to get on their knees. Some people feel they have to bow their heads. Some people feel they have to face east and do the bowing thing. Some people feel they have to bang bowls. Some people feel they have to light incense. Some people feel like they have to do all kinds of things depending on the culture that you're in and the way that culture has been known to pray, how they feel it works. But understand, a desire is a prayer, because a desire is telling the universe, this is what I want. Telling God, this is what I want. And then the universe, depending on your soul condition, it will either come or not come. How many times have you prayed for something and it didn't happen? And how many times have you desired something, but then you're like, well, I don't know if it'll come, and you pray for it and you let it go, and then before you know it, it shows up. There are many ways that you can get what you want from the universe and from the Creator. There's many reasons why you will and will not receive something if you desired it. And these are all things that are explainable. Completely explainable. But you have to be willing to understand the truth of the answer. You have to be willing to be open to that. So for someone who's an atheist who doesn't believe that this is how it works, well, they'll never really fully have the power to really manifest the things that they desire. If they're constantly feeling, I think, I don't know. I'll just go straight. I usually don't, but whatever. Now the last time I did this, it was just a big mess. But the last time I left it was also late, so let me see. It's really bright. I don't know what I was saying, but there's many reasons. Believing, if you're an atheist and you don't believe in the universe, or you don't believe in God, the universe which God created, if you don't believe in any of these things, it's very difficult to really hone in on the way, the tools, or the way, or I guess I would say it would be really difficult to master manifesting things that you desire. But at the same time, that's not true, because there are some people who you don't have to believe in God, you don't have to believe in the universe, because like I said, your desire is your prayer. That which you desire can generally come. There are people who don't believe in God and they're very wealthy. They have problems in their life, but we all have problems in our life because we don't understand why the problems are there. We can desire money and desire things and desire abundance in the monetary sense, but we can be lacking in other areas. But these are the things, this is where someone who is an atheist will struggle and have problems, because they know how to desire material things, but they don't know how to desire a better life experience. Like they don't, like for instance, if they want a relationship, who are they going to ask to bring them a relationship? If they don't believe in the powers of the universe and they don't believe in God, who are they going to ask? And see, that's something that you cannot control. Well, you kind of can through monetary, but you're not getting an authentic person. You're getting someone who wants you for your money. And you'll find out the truth, or the people who are doing this or living this way will find out the truth of this fact when they stop giving what the other person wants again. When they stop giving people what they want. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I said your friends, the people who you deem as friends or your partner, there's something you're giving them in order for them to be present. But once you stop doing that, they go away. And then the thing is, at that point, they'll understand that they were used. Again, feeling this lack of value, lack of worth. Nobody wants me. I can't find someone who loves me. Well, you don't even love yourself. Of course you can't find someone who loves you. You're never, ever going to find someone who loves you if you don't love yourself. Now, you may find someone who's lonely, who wants to be with someone, anybody, just to be with them. But let me tell you, that will soon, that will eventually, I should say, that will eventually, what word am I looking for? Come on, Zachary. Let me have some coffee. What word am I looking for? that will eventually present itself to you at some point. It will eventually present itself to you. The truth. How lonely you are. Because like I said, no matter what you create for yourself through the physical, your willpower, no matter what you create for yourself, that's a long message on Facebook. Someone just sent me a message. Hi, Billy. It came across and it almost filled up my whole screen. Anyway, so it will, no matter what you create for yourself, in physical form, the universe will always expose that which dwells within your soul. This is why I say you can't run away from it. You can't run away from it. So this feeling of values, like I know people want to, move towards this whole money thing, and they say, I want to create this for myself, I want to feel worthy, I want to have value, I want to make money, I want to have a house, I want to have a car, I want to do this, I want to do all these different things. But understand there's a difference between having these things to feel valuable, to feel as if you have worth, because understand, in order to do that, it's only because other people are involved. Meaning you want to show others that you have wealth. You want to show others that you have a house. You want to show others that you have a car. This is a sense of accomplishment for people. For people to say, oh, wow, you did a great job. I remember when I got my house, I wasn't even looking for it. I wasn't looking for it. And people tell me all the time, wow, you're smart. It was kind of like a bet. Who can get one first? It wasn't like I really wanted a house. It just kind of happened. It was kind of like I don't know. It was just, like I said, I wasn't really looking for one. I know when I was little, I desired a house, but it wasn't something that I was actively trying to do. And the universe said, okay, you're in a place in your life right now where you can manifest this. You don't have to work for it. I have not had to work for my house. I've told you guys before, many times, I love telling that story because it just proves that you don't have to work hard to have something. You don't. Sometimes it's just given to you. But you have to know what condition to be in order for things to be given to you. There's a certain condition you have to be in order for the universe to just hand it to you on a silver platter. It can be done. It is absolutely possible. But you have to know the soul condition to be in order for that to happen. And I think back on the soul condition that I was in at the time. And I think back on what my soul condition was before all this started happening. I had a great deal of resistance within my being towards mainly the people that I work with. And I couldn't stand them. I despised them. I judged them. I did so many things because they were so mean to me. They were just so mean. They were awful to other people. They were just despicable people. And this is how I viewed them. And I just thought they were disgusting. But then I started to change my feelings towards them. I started to soften as I don't know what the verse is, but I know it's somewhere in the Bible. It's allowing your heart of stone to be transformed into the heart of flesh. And that's when I allowed the truth. This is what you have to do for your self-worth and your value. You have to change your heart of stone into a heart of flesh and allow God's word to be written upon it, meaning God's truths to be written upon it. It must be part of your soul. It must be part of what people know as their heart. It has to be there. That truth has to be there in order for you to feel valuable, to know your value, to know your worth, to feel your worth. In order to experience this in its fullness, it must be written upon your soul. Because as of right now, the only thing that's written upon your soul in terms of value and worth are the cold lies, the harsh lies, the untruths, which are the harshness, the stone, if you want to, continue with that reference. That's the difference. So you have to soften it up a bit. The Creator is not harsh at all. The Creator is loving. The Creator is so compassionate and understanding. And so you must have the love for you as God has love for you. You must have the compassion for yourself as God has compassion for you. You must have understanding for yourself and the others who put this stuff in you that wasn't true to begin with. Because understand, this only came in as a child. This didn't come in as an adult. This came in as a child. This entered your soul as a child. And as a child, we are not yet fully aware. Well, actually, we're not aware. Consciously, we're not aware. We may know when things are wrong. We know when we experience pain, we don't like it. We know that's wrong. But that doesn't change the fact that our moms and dads keep smacking us around growing up. It doesn't change the fact that they keep hurting you emotionally growing up. It doesn't change these things. It doesn't change them. And so they continue entering your soul. The pain entering your soul. The pain entering your soul. The lack of value entering your soul. The lack of worth entering your soul. Becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Getting to a point where you can't even look at yourself as being valuable or worthy. That's what's happening. So yes, you have accepted someone else's version of truth that is untrue, and you have not accepted God's truth. And this is why it's so important. Look, some of you know I was not a follower of God. I was not a speaker of God's word. I wouldn't talk about God. I wouldn't even, in the beginning, when I first made these videos, I would not say God. I would not say the Creator. I would say the universe. That's what I would do, is I would say the universe. The powers that be. That's it. But usually I would stick to universe. I couldn't even say God. So the fact that I use it now, it's a huge transformation, but my life is also transformed.
GPS signal lost.
My life has transformed, and the only reason my life, and when I say that, I mean my life experience. My life experience has transformed because my soul has transformed. I'm not saying that it has completely transformed. This is one of the issues that human beings have, is they want, they want an end result. And the thing is, you're never going to have an end result, because in God's creations, there is no end result. There's just a continuation. I had posted something about, there is no death. It's just a different world experience. So yes, when we leave this place and what we see, this process that happens that we call death, when we leave the physical body, or when you see life exit the physical body, that doesn't mean that life has stopped. It does not mean that life has ceased. It only means that life has moved on into a different world, a world of which we know or call or refer to as the spirit world. And within the spirit world, there are thousands of locations. When I say thousands of locations, there are many levels, many dimensions, like up to, I think we're at, it could be more, I don't know, but the last time I heard, it was 36. 36 dimensions. But within each dimension, there's thousands of levels within that. And with each level, there are many locations, different experiences to be had. It is endless. There is no end to it. But people want to believe that there is an end to it because of their misunderstanding of what they're seeing happen in physical form. When you see a flower grow, it births itself, if you will. It lives and it dies. We see it as dying. We see it as stopping its existence, ceasing to exist. That's what we see, and that's what we interpret. We see a person die, come into form, birth, lived life, and then end. And we believe that that's it, because we can't see what's happening on the flip side. Now, some people can. They have mediums out there who can connect with those who have moved on and transitioned to the spirit world. You have people who can see the spirits or the auras of those who have passed on. There are some people who can, but the majority on the planet cannot. And because they can't see it, they can't believe it. They can't understand what's truly going on. And so they live with this misinformation, building their life upon misinformation, causing themselves more pain. And what I mean by that, like just as an example, people feel a great deal of pain when someone when someone dies, if you will. They'd be like, oh no, oh, they're lost forever. Oh my gosh, I miss them so much, they're not here anymore. They're there, you just can't see them. You can't hear them. You can't interact with them. But they're in a space where they can hear and see you. They can feel your emotions. They can sense your feelings, all of the things. Understand, when we move to a different place, it's in progression. So when we die, as people call it, we move to a place where we are more aware. Our consciousness is expanded. And so we're not just aware of the physical world, but now we're aware of the spirit world in addition to the physical world when we transition into the spirit world. But many people think that's it. And I can tell you this, the people who are tired, the people who are exhausted with life because it has been so harsh for them, these are the people who love to go to church and love to believe the idea that when you die, that's it, and you get to be with God, or you get to be with Jesus, or you get to be wherever. Some people believe you don't exist anymore. Some people believe that you're just going to be with God or with Jesus. That's what people believe. But let me tell you, it's only because they want the pain to stop. They're like, oh, life is so hard. And it can be hard. If you believe it's hard, again, a master manifester, a master creator. If you believe it's hard, guess what? Life is going to be hard. You walk around saying life is a bitch, life is this, life is that. Guess what it's going to be? Exactly. And there are people who, like myself, yeah, there are experiences that I don't like, but I don't think life is hard. However, at one point when I was younger, I thought that shit was so difficult. I'm like, this is not good. I told you when I was younger and I just wanted to die because life was so painful. So I understand where people are. I understand what they're experiencing. But I'm here to tell you today that it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. The only reason why that's even a thing is because you're making it a thing. And most likely you don't know how you're doing that. You don't know how you're making it a thing. But you are. You're making everything in your life what it is today. Are you single and you want someone to love you? Well, that's only because you haven't received love. You're craving it. You're desiring it so much to the point where you're willing to be with someone who you don't really like just to have someone there. So you have the illusion of love. You want someone present because you don't want to feel alone. Well, what does that mean? You have an emotional injury of you feeling abandoned and alone. Abandoned, rejected, which is why you'll get into a relationship and then feel abandoned and rejected when they leave you. Because it wasn't based upon love that you were telling yourself it was based upon. All these illusions, people, I'm telling you, all of these illusions, they're not real, but they're experienced as real. And you have to be able to discern, the difference between the two. You have to be able to do that. But you are so valuable and have so much worth. You have so much to contribute to people. And the thing is, you cannot present something of value if someone doesn't see it as being valuable. For instance, some people will see great value in a diamond, but you can give someone else a diamond, they're like, whatever. I don't see value in jewelry. I don't own any jewelry. I'm wearing, it's so funny, I'm wearing my Moldavite, and I don't know why I even grabbed it. It's been hanging on the wall. It was tarnished. Well, when I looked at it, I was like, why is the chain the same color as the stone? So I was like, I think I heard somewhere where you just rub toothpaste on it, and it worked actually. So I rubbed toothpaste on it with an old toothbrush, and voila, it's shining again. I don't know why I'm wearing this thing, but I'm not a jewelry person. I bought jewelry in the past, but I can tell you the only reason why I bought watches and bracelets and necklaces is because other people saw it as being valuable. They're like, oh, I saw people wearing jewelry. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'll buy some jewelry. Stolen or lost, and after it was stolen or lost, there was no desire to replace it because I didn't have a desire for it to begin with. It was based on other people. Other people think that it's something, it's good to have it, so then I bought it. So people would think, oh wow, look, he has jewelry. Look, he has value. He has worth. This is what I'm saying. So I understand where people are coming from. But I can tell you this, if you continue to live life where you are believing someone else's version of truth, or I'm sorry, of value and worth, you will always be disappointed because people are shifting and changing their minds left and right, day and night, all the time. You know, they'll think one way one day and another way a different day, and sometimes 2 ways, 4 ways, 5 ways in the same day. It just really depends. It just really depends. Come on, people, there's a police behind me coming up, and I want to pull over to the side. I do not want to pull over to the side, but it looks like I'm going to have to pull over to the side. I want to get in that turning lane before it comes, but I don't hear anything. Oh, there he is. Come on, people. Let me get over here. Oh, good. He turned. So, why did... So that's it. That's pretty much what I have. But understand, if you can accept it, because understand this means nothing if you're not able to accept it, that you have all the value and all the worth, or I should say you are all the value and all the worth that you will ever need. But you have to know that. You have to understand what your gifts are, where you are valuable. Mine isn't speaking truth. That's my value. That's, you know, what I maintain in terms of integrity. I hold that to be the standard. Truth is my standard. I can't care about pleasing anybody. I can't do that. If I do that, I'll become lost again. And the thing is, now that I found myself, there's no way I would want to go back to being that. Living life in a manner that is not truth, I can't see myself going back to that. Ever. I cannot. And even if I desire something, I will not sacrifice that just to have that which I desire. I cannot sacrifice because I understand it's not real. If I just for instance, if I desire a relationship and I meet someone and I'm talking to them and they're not on this path of truth and love, I can't sacrifice that. I can't sacrifice me appeasing someone else just to keep them around. I can't do that. Because that's going backwards. I mean, I can if I chose to, but I already know what life is, not living in truth. I already know what life is, not knowing my value and my worth. I already know what that feels like, and it's ugly. So, no, I can't go back to that. I won't go back to that. That's not an option. It is not an option. And the thing is, once you realize this, once you experience it, once you taste it, and you can tell the difference between living in truth and living in love and knowing your value and knowing your worth versus not, you'll understand what I mean by that. But you won't understand it unless you experience it for yourself at least once. You have to taste it. You have to taste it. You can say, oh, I don't like that. It's just like food. I don't like it, but you've never had it. But once you taste it, like, oh my gosh, this is so good. All these years I've been telling myself I don't want to try it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. But let me tell you, truth may look like it is painful, but it is not. It is the releasing of the untruth that's painful. Truth does not bear any pain. Truth exposes that which dwells within you that is untrue. That's the painful part. But other than that, nope. Truth is your friend. So you better get on board with it. Choo-choo. All right, everybody. Have a great one, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye now.